jerk more weight than you can press or hold. You can actually hit harder with the hack if you keep him in, and you can keep him in his cone of balance by coupling the two motions together. So make sure you don't slip down too soon. Keep control of it as you feed it. Then, as you do that in one motion, these two, and then the foot should be in place. I mentioned this before, but it's worth repeating again. Don't play stiff. Relax. This is only a drill. Remember, he's your partner. He's not your opponent. You haven't hit him to soften him up or anything to make him more cooperative. When you're doing this and your partner gets stiff, you're resisting way too much force and you're spending too much time in one place. When he stiffens up like this, he just becomes a stationary target. He ain't going anywhere. Then you can pop him and strike any way you want. Relaxing doesn't just make it easy on your partner, it even improves his defense because he doesn't want to get in a habit where he's stuck and then in a real fight he resists and the other guy's just moving all about him. So relax, relax. This is the toughest thing to teach anybody because they all think I got to resist this. Remember, this is a drill to help you learn postures, positions, balance, build reflexes, condition you, desensitize you to stepping on feet and locking on legs. It is only a drill. It's a critical element. Learn to relax. Dave and I are going to walk through Lanka 6A. This uses a step, crossover, C-step, and then step and shuffle. And if that seems a little confusing, just think of it as Lanka 2 to Lanka 4, open to twist, and then Lanka 4 to Lanka 2, twist to open. We'll walk it a few times back and forth, switch sides, walk it back, then we'll break it down. Dave? Starting from Lanka 2. From this Lanka 2, right shin on left calf position, this lock I've got. As I grind, my right hand picks up this punch and I ride it. I just slide in. I'm angling off here, but I'm being sure to slip and ride. Whether I pick up his arm, his punch is coming from below, and I've got him here, and he feeds the punch. I'm riding this arm, just like this. If his punch is high, as in most of the case, people want to hit you in the head. Before, trying to hit me through the body, he's got to come through this hole here. And this looks like his target of opportunity. So my hand being low is going to be in an ideal position to pick this up. I cue him, step behind him, and I'm riding his arm. What do I mean by slip and ride? Let me show you. The easiest way to show this technique is with a motion we call up, block, and ride. You can call it a technique, but we just started doing it as a motion. As he fires the punch, I come in, I'm going to ride his arm, and then I follow it up. Just as we have two-handed blocks for block left, block right, we also have a two-handed block for upward. Now, a two-handed block is different than a double hand block. I want you to see how I ride his arm. This stays in place. I move. I'm not cueing him to go in any direction. My hand stays in position, and I ride right down. Oh yeah, and there's leg work to this little movement. You can tear it up, and it really makes a little difference what lead he's in. He might be in a left lead, firing a right punch. Now the follow-up changes, but the basic movement, a block. Here I'm using an elbow in on him, follow it up, smash, boom, and take his leg out. So I ride his arm. I move to it. You're going to do the same thing as you angle out and ride down. You're not pushing him. You're moving to him. You're not cueing him to flee. You're not cueing him to action. Soft presence, riding him in. Watch for riding down the outside of his arm now. Dave, I'm starting the Lanka 2 position. Got the hacksaw in, pressure, I grind. I'm riding down the arm. Once I made contact, I stayed with it as close as I could. Then I'll feed it across, come into my C-step. As I cue him, I'm going to ride down this arm again. Feed it across as I move, come in and do my hacksaw. And you've seen these crossovers before. You've done the angulation, you've done the slipping. None of this should be new to you. When you're in this Lanka 4 position, if you've twisted him sufficiently, you've got your rear hand here up on his scapula, you've got your foot turned out, you can control him quite easily. Not only do you have your rear gun, the big gun, pointing right at him, ready to use, but should force be needed, I can simply use both hands to continue twisting him down into the ground or throwing him away. When I said before that your hand has to be on the scapula here, I say the scapula, but it really needs to be close to my own face height. Now on Dave, that is on his shoulder, his scapula. Okay? But for Brian, that's impractical. Brian? When I'm locked in on Brian, my hand isn't anywhere near up here. If I'm up here, that's impractical for me. So I'm down here, again, close to my face height. Should Brian step back with that foot, Brian, and feed me a punch, this is exactly where he's coming with that punch. If my hand is up here, it's got to drop all the way down for a quick movement. If it's right here at my face height, I get to protect my face. So face height is really where your hand goes. If you're lower than your opponent, Brian, put your foot forward. If you're lower than your opponent, because he's tall, it's going to be your face height. If I happened to be his height, standing on my toes to get this done, then my hand is right here on his scapula. Again, you're trying to protect your face. You're not fixed to a part of his anatomy. You're trying to save a part of yours. Paul and I are going to do 6B. We're going to march back and forth, and then switch sides, come back and forth again, and we'll break it down after. This is the Kun Tao method, so you'll see striking employed. Paul? Now we'll switch sides. Lanka 2 position. This Kuntao method presents simpler footwork than the back and forth crossover as you saw in the Silat method. We're going to walk through it now, 2 to 4, 4 to 2, switch sides and come back and identify what we're doing as we go through. First thing I want to do is start in the Lanka 2 position. I've got the hacksaw pressure on him. I've got my foot trapping his leg. Now what I'm going to do is cue, he fires. I step off the line, punch. Then I feed the arm across as I make my Lanka 4 position. My hand is here to protect as I move into my next move because I'm going to go from 4 to 2. I cue, he steps through. That hand flew off of that shoulder, drops into here, feed his arm across, and then hack. Now we're using 3-gear analogies here, and I'll show you that as we go back the other way. Paul? From the Lanka 2 position, I have the forearm to drive him back, I have his weight shifted over that leg, and I grind in. Now what I'm going to do is, as I cue him with the grind, I go to first gear, which is the punch. Second gear lines this up, and then I press forward as I'm coming in. That's second gear. He's fighting all my weight. Third gear positions, and then applies the lock. Now we're into third gear. I'm going to cue him. He's going to step back. First gear again. Feed it across. As I move in, he's feeling the weight here. Then I pull. This hack is part of second gear. Now once I apply the lock, I've got third gear. This drives him down, drives him away. Anytime you're in this Lanka 2 position, you don't want to hacksaw too deeply. The reason it's important for Lanka 2 is if I'm in Lanka 3, I'm behind him here making this hack. He doesn't have much he can get. But if I'm in Lanka 2 and I hack too deeply, Paul can pull on my arm. Now he's hyperextending my elbow or going after the digits. What I want to do when I come in and do this right, I want to come in and hack no further than that. Now he has much less to grab, and even if he tries for fingers, that's going to just change his mind really fast. In the Lanka 4 position, the opponent's arm is across his body. You want to be sure to keep his arm in front of him and touching his body, making that 3-dot alignment, and you want to be pushing down approximately 45 degrees. You don't want your arm in here to push him away. You know you've done this right when you cause your partner either to twist or to bend. Now you've got it right. If he gets off track here, you've pulled him down too far. If you've lined up his arm wrong, it's anchored properly on me, but it's directly on him, that's not going to work either. So you keep it in front of him, touching him, down 45 degrees. Danny and I are going to walk 6C back and forth, switch sides back and forth, just to give you an idea of the flow. Now we're going to switch sides. Let's break down what we've just been doing in the drill. We're just going to walk through Lanka 2 to 4, that's a shuffle and step, and then Lanka 4 to 2, that's a step and shuffle. We'll identify what we do, switch sides, do it a second time, give you both looks. Start from the hack here. So I'm in Lanka 2 at this point in time. We're going to angle behind like we did with 6A, but now we're using the Kun-Tao striking. So as I grind and he steps back, I move toward his backside, not outside as in A, still toward his back, but to make myself safe, pound him in the face. Now I'm going to feed and control this arm. You actually can't tell, but his arm is hidden, and he'd have to come through it to hit me. I then come in to my C-step position where I'm safe, my hand is high. Now I'm going to cue him with a strike here. He steps back and I'm stepping behind him again, fire the left punch, feed this across as I move to here, then come in and hack. Again, that simultaneous operation where I'm hacking in here. Now I'm in Lanka 2 again. We'll do it going the other way now. Danny?
Sir.
I'm in the Lanka 2 position again. I have his weight thrust back. My arm is anchored here to keep him from running away from me. IQ, step behind him and punch. Feed it across. And the cue before was the grind. Now I'm in this position in the lock. I've got my big gun, which in the street would follow through, but I'm going to cue him. As I do, I step behind him, punch, feed the arm across to align and control his body, hack, second, just before I put the foot down. The cueing is important, so let's take a minute and look at that. For cueing your partner, your weight must be over the locking leg. This allows you to move your rear leg to him without having to shift your weight. Once I have the weight over here, now I can cue him in what we call the hokey pokey. You put your right foot in, you put your right foot out, you put your right foot in, you can shake it all about. That's a silly illustration. It's downright stupid, actually. But the fact is, you'll remember it. If my weight is back and I can't get the foot in because I'm going to fall backward, then I need to put my weight forward over this leg. This makes a very good grind and it applies it properly. This is my second gear position. It becomes the jack stand. My weight is forward. I can cue all day. I can move in any way I dictate, and I don't have to shift my weight to do it. You just put your right foot in, you put your right foot out, and if I sing any more, you're going to throw the tape away.
Again, an easy way to remember which Lankas, 5 or 6, combine which atomic Lankas. Try this. All odd or all even numbers. 1, 3, and 5, odd numbers. 2, 4, and 6, even numbers. 1 and 3 are used in Lanka 5. 2 and 4 are used in Lanka 6. Without a doubt, Lanka 6 is difficult. In fact, it's more difficult than, say, moving from Lanka 2 to 3 and back to 2. That'd be a great